Hello and welcome everyone to the Leadership Mastery Bootcamp with me, Namita Purohit. And I'm going to be here with you for 5 days and we're going to cover different aspects of leadership. You're going to get live coaching with me to strengthen your leadership, to strengthen your inner core. And you're going to get this 3 step blueprint, my signature method that I use to coach leaders. And I'm going to share that with you. For those of you who have registered, you would have also received a workbook link to follow along. And for those of you who haven't registered, I might give you another day to register so you can go to the links in the description wherever you're watching this and click there, and you will be able to get the workbook for the next session, not for this session immediately. Yeah. But here I am, all excited, super happy to come and share with you. I have been in the coaching space for the last 15 years, and I have had the fortune of serving many leaders in their hero's journey, in their growth journey. And there are many things that I've learned from that about the different fears that leaders have, or the different challenges, the different pain points, and the different things that they want to do, and the ambition that they have and the burning desire that they have to go out and change the world and to make an impact and to live at their fullest potential. But there are many things that even the most high performing leaders, they still feel that their potential is underutilized. And yes, absolutely, the individual soul is more powerful than the sun. And we as human beings, as spiritual beings having a human experience covered with this body, covered with the mind, we're unable to express ourselves at that fullest potential. And therefore, even if someone's performing at the highest level, they're still feeling that, oh, I'm capable of much more. I want to make a bigger impact. I want to leave a bigger legacy. And after you've gone through your lower chakra stuff, like you worked on your own needs and desires and ambition and ego, then after a certain stage, people start thinking about contribution and legacy and service. Yes. So we have served leaders at all ends of the spectrum. And what makes my work very different is I focus on helping leaders become a sage of the steady mind so that they can achieve all that they're meant to achieve and create the impact all that they're meant to create in a very holistic way, using Eastern wisdom and Western psychology. And as I was preparing for this 5 day boot camp, and as I was also creating the course modules for the Lead with Ease Academy, which we are launching today, and this boot camp is a part of our launch for the Lead with Ease Academy, I was speaking with my assistant that, hey, in our course modules and in this boot camp, we're quoting from the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavat, Mahabharat, Ramayana, Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and we're talking about Stoic philosophy. We're talking about, from Marcus Aurelius, we're talking about Greek philosophers, we're referring to them. We're talking about Carl Jung, the shadow work that he talks about, and we're going to incorporate that in the leadership work, retelling your stories, shadow work. Um, Even contemporary thinkers like Naval Ravikant, Nassim Nicholas Taleb, anti-fragility guru, and the gurus on positioning, the gurus on habits, and so much, right? So it's all packed together, and I'm loving it. And as I was sharing about this with my past clients, a lot of them were like, why wasn't this program there when you were coaching me? I said, I was coaching you, but yes, now I've been able to create all these modules for everyone, and you're welcome to join. So without further delay, today is the first day of the Leadership Mastery Bootcamp, the free 5 day bootcamp that I'm hosting. And today's topic that we're going to cover is the 3 keys to self leadership. Yes. And why is this self leadership important for leaders? How does that make their leadership different? How does that allow and help them to let their USP shine through? And how does that help them have bigger profits for their companies, bigger gains for themselves, and growth and living and contributing at their highest potential? Um, the method that I use, the 3 step method that I use, I talk about uh, it's at 3 levels, and that's how we've designed the Lead with Ease logo as well. And I'll show you all that in a bit. But it's personal mastery, self leadership, self partnering. The next level is relational mastery because it's all about relationships. Leadership at as you start rising, it's about relationships. How well do you relate with yourself? How well do you relate with your team, your stakeholders, your peers, your managers, your subordinates, your customers, your shareholders, right? What is that relationship that you have? And for that, you also need to create and cultivate and curate a very nice and a strong executive presence. But that doesn't come first. That's an external thing. Your internals need to be strong. And the third level is organizational level. So we're going to talk about all of this along with me every day. I'm going to be training you all on these concepts along with a workbook that you can follow along. And plus, I'm having some excellent experts who are showing up. I have Vinod coming in tomorrow, who is going to talk about venture capital deal flow and founder readiness, and how we can be, what are the traits that the VCs look for, and what are the different things that founders can do, and what is the VC deal flow all about, and where do you fit in with your company. Vinod is going to talk about that. Sangeeta is going to talk about building a business while having a full-time job and raising a young family. And she's going to talk about also about involving your children in your business. Mukesh, the next day, is going to talk about how can you be a leader in diverse verticals. Now, whether you are working for a Fortune 500 company, or you're on a job in a high leadership position, or you have your own business, the tips that Mukesh is going to share are going to be really handy. On Friday is also another very special person in my life, Govinda Das, who's also my mentor, my spiritual mentor, and he's going to talk about the warrior mindset of leaders. And I'm also going to talk about leadership branding on that day. So today we're going to talk about your journey. You are the hero of your life, and you are trying to have this hero's journey. And your hero's journey, the wheel of life, the wheel of your hero's life goes up, comes down, and then it goes up, comes down, and you feel like you're not making any progress, but the wheel is moving. Just because you're going up and down, it means you are moving the needle, you are pushing ahead. It's just that you don't see it. And especially when you have those down moments, is when you struggle and when you question yourself, and you wonder. I've had clients who have just been laid off, or I have clients who've just lost their entire business, who had to shut it down, and they're all going through that hero's journey, but they're unable to see it. But how can you go through that hero's journey successfully, understanding those stages, and how can you build those key inner traits that you need to develop, so that you can have this fantastic hero's leadership journey, as you make progress ahead in a way in which you create success for yourself and for your family and for your organization. So I'm going to share a diagram here with all of you. I got this. I got sharing this here. So this is a typical hero's journey, whether you're reading Harry Potter, or you're reading The Wizard of Oz, or you're reading the Mahabharata or the Ramayana or the Bhagavad Gita. You are going to see this journey, and a lot of movies are based on this hero's journey. And a lot of these diagrams that you find online, and a lot of these articles that you find online, they're all based on Joseph Campbell's work. We're going to draw from that too. And just sharing another picture here. Let's see which one looks better. Maybe this one is easier. Yes. So we are all in our ordinary worlds as leaders. We are, sensing, thinking, feeling, taking in things, reacting, responding to all that's happening. And then there is this challenge. There's this call to action that comes for all of us. Some of us who are the high achievers, the type A people, we respond to that call of action. We try to respond to that call of action, but a lot of times we end up refusing the call because we are too busy, we don't have the skills, it's too much change, it's too much chaos, and we don't want to do it. Yes. And then we refuse the call to action, but at the same time, internally, we are feeling like, no, I should take that risk. I should do it. I have a lot of gain over there, but then, there is still some inhibition, but there is still some some feeling of gain that we have, that we know that we want to achieve there. And we're wondering, how can I balance all of it? And that's when I'm just trying to see how to get the best picture here, so that maybe this was the best. Yes, so that you can see it really well. Yes. So you have this call to action, you refuse that call, very sadly. And then a lot of times we refuse that call and we regret 5 years later. But there are some of us, as the hero's journey, you meet a mentor, you meet a guide, you meet an inspirational personality. And through their inspiration, through their guidance, you decide to cross the threshold. You decide to take that step ahead. Yes. And when you take that step ahead and you take their guidance and you try to do things, you still fail. You still fail. And you wonder, like, oh, I have so many years of experience and I've done so well in my life. Why am I failing here? Well, you will, because it's a higher level, a higher call that you're responding to, and you're not skilled up for it yet. Your internals are not ready for it yet. Your external skills are not ready for it yet. Yes. So you have that, you cross that threshold, you're like, okay, let me take that leap, let me jump. And you have that trial and first failure. You fall down. Yes. And then you meet some, you try to make some friends, you make some, you meet some enemies also along the way, but you meet a lot of friends whom you learn from. You have some growth, some new skills, and then you have your first success. Yes. And then when you have the first success, you're preparing, and then there is the, you're ready for that grand trial, that grand stage. Yes, where there is revelation and insight. And as you're getting ready for that, you're discarding your old self, you're preparing for that grand stage, you are releasing everything and anything that's not useful to you, and you're accepting that new position, that new role that you have to perform in this grand stage. And then as you do that, you're trying to go ahead, you're making it forward, you're going there, you kind of get pulled back, but then you step up to that first big challenge and you are again scared. And all that you have done in this lower arc, the bigger lower arc, all that preparation comes handy when you have to come to that final challenge of success. You're still emotionally up and down, you're still on a roller coaster, you're still doubting yourself, you're still fearing it, but then you take all that you have learned and you propel forward. Yes. And then you restore order and you start taking a new place in the old world. Now let's take an example. Yes. In the Mahabharata, you have the Pandavas, right? So the Pandavas have this call to action where, they need to reclaim their kingdom. They take it. They're not able to do it. They get sucked up into a gambling war, into a gambling match. They lose it. And then they are exiled to 14 years of exile, right? And that's where they meet their mentors. One is Lord Krishna, who meets them along the way, even before they were part of the gambling match. But then he kind of shows up a lot more during that time. And Dhaumya, while Dronacharya is Kripacharya are praised as gurus, but Dhaumya is the one who's been with them for a long time, right? And then they meet the mentor and they cross the threshold. They started accepting that exile life. Very difficult, but they accept it. And they use that time in preparation. There are a lot of challenges that happen even then, but they use that time in preparation, in attaining new weapons through their tapasyas and austerities, and in meeting new allies, like making friends with different, in from Bharatvarsha, from the planet, making friends and allies, protecting them. They are Gyatwas, they are, and they also make friends with King Virat, and garner his support. They support him, and then they have a first success where Duryodhan comes to war with King Virat, but then Arjuna has Brihanhalla and Virat's son. They're able to defeat. Yes, so they meet a little bit of success, and then there is the grand trial. Then they are having this whole new big Mahabharat world war, which Pandavas on one side, the brothers on one side with Krishna, and the other side is their cousins, and they're having this grand war. And in that, they've discarded the old self, accepted a new role, trying to make the road back. But then there's again an inner challenge that Arjuna faces. He's like, I don't want to go to war. Right in the middle of the battlefield, I don't want to go to war. I don't want to go to war. I don't think I'm doing the right thing. I don't want to go to war. Yes, and they have that challenge, but again, mentorship, again, guidance, and still in the extraordinary world of going deep within your own self, your own spirituality, your own connection, your own inner connection, working on yourself. And then finally stepping up to that challenge, which Arjuna is able to with Krishna's guidance, and meeting success. And when they meet success, they're able to restore order. They're bringing everything back to Pono, restoring order and take new place in the world. Again, back to the ordinary world, but as a new and a transformed person. and they become a hero in their natural environment. And then again, there's another challenge, and again, the cycle continues. And at each time you're going through the cycle, you need some preparation, you need some mentorship. And that's necessary for all leaders. It's not that, oh, I crossed one threshold. So now I don't, I just know it and I'll be able to handle every other challenge that comes my way. It doesn't work like that. Yes. So I want to show you the same thing from a different, with, I just want to talk about return, departure, and initiation here for all leaders, right? So say you got your Series A funding, right? You were in your ordinary world, you got this idea, this massive idea that this is what I want to do. You stepped up to the call of adventure. You tried to refuse the call, but then you found some mentors along the way and you crossed the threshold. You decided, yes, I'm going to go for it, right? And then you're meeting people, making friends, building your team, doing all of that. At point number 6, you're fine tuning your approach, going through the ordeal of building that first, pilot, that first prototype, the first MVP, and you're working towards it and you get a reward. You're like, wow, I made something and it's working, my customers like it, etc. You go and try to get funding, and then there are many roadblocks along the way. You're struggling with it. So you find more mentors to help you. You draw from all of that. So you went through the departure stage, you got through the initiation stage, getting to the return stage, and then you're returning back with funding, and you're back to the ordinary world. But now you have Series A funding, you're doing stuff, then you're going to the next level. I'm not great with the VC stuff. We know this, and he's going to come tomorrow. I'm just drawing a little bit from all of these things so that you get the picture. So all of us in our life are having a hero's journey. All of us are having this hero's journey. And how many of you recognize yourself in this hero's journey? No wonder we love the epics. No wonder we love the movies that talk about the hero's journey, because we ourselves have gone through these 10 stages, and these 10 stages are used to write books, and they are used to write movie scripts. Yes. And therefore we love those things because we're able to find ourselves at one of those 10 stages, and we're able to identify with the hero there because we are the hero of our own journey, and we get a lot of inspiration, we get a lot of understanding, a lot of empathy when we're doing these things. Yes. But that's not enough. We need to go down in that unconscious world, in that special world, in that extraordinary world, as I was showing you in the diagrams, and do that inner work so that we have those very strong cores and we exhibit extremely strong self leadership. And uh, we will be successful when we are strong. And leaders are the breed that decide what they want to do and they make it happen. No matter, they don't know whether they have the resources or not. They don't know whether it's going to work out or not, but they have unlimited self confidence that they can make it happen. Of course, they're practical, they're not doing any impractical things, etc., but they understand their power. They're well situated in their power and they know how to make things happen. Now, for us to get to some stage of that, we need to bring our personal core, our inner core, strengthen it. Yes. And for that, now I'm going to go through the workbook with all of you. For those of you who had registered, they have the workbook. And for those of you who did not register, can register uh, now, but you'll get the workbook maybe after a few hours because I don't have instant email set up for that. Yes. So here we go. I'm sharing the workbook with all of you, and I'm trying to get it into a point where, yes, we both are visible. So this is the Leadership Mastery Bootcamp Day 1 workbook. And as I mentioned, we're doing this 3-step blueprint together to help you develop your leadership. And I'm trying to see how to scroll here. Yeah, right. So day 1 is mastering the 3 keys of leadership. Yes. So we have these 3 keys of leadership. Three keys of self leadership is very important. And within that, we're going to do 3 different things. One thing is retelling our stories. The second thing is so retelling your stories, learning how to be solidly self-partnered so that you can go through the ups and downs of the hero's journey. It's hard. That roller coaster is really hard. And the more self-partnered you are, the better you're going to be able to navigate that hero's journey. You're going to be able to answer the call. You're going to be able to come back from the abyss. You're going to handle all the self doubts, and you're going to because you are self partnered. Yes, and what does that mean? We're going to get into that. And then the third step is just a lot of self leadership around commitment, around confidence, around certainty, around anti fragility, around time management, around autonomy, around ambition, around so many things. So we're going to get into all of that. Yes. Now, as you go through this and the workbook, sorry, I can't make it a little bigger. Let me see. Let me see. No, even if I maximize it, it's not better. It's still the same size. But those of you who have registered have the link and can download it from there. So now the first stage is that I once had a client who, and we're going to use that hero's journey to go through these three different steps. Yes. So I had this client who had a lot of anger. And this client was able to get away with all that anger up to certain stages of leadership. He could tell his manager off, he could tell his team off, he could tell his peers off because he was very good at his craft. Right? He was a really great engineer and he was really great at delivering the product and leading his team and making that things happen. But he wasn't very evolved. Yes. And then all of those anger issues for the next level, not possible for the promotion because those attitudes are important. And so far, he was just rising and he did so well in his career. He thought that, I can just go on and on with this attitude of mine. But, very soon, because he was a fast riser, he realized that I can't go to the next level unless I fix this. So that's when he signed up for coaching with us. And as we worked on that whole thing, the anger came from inability to tolerate incompetence. The anger came from just respect me because I'm so good an engineer. And the anger also came from a lot of anxiety, a lot of anxiety. And as I worked, and this is one of the blogs case studies that I've written on my website, namitapurohit.com. And as I worked with him, I understood that where is this anxiety coming from? This is a high performer who's doing well, who's always achieved, really done really well. And then where is all of this anxiety coming from? And it turned out that when he was growing up, both his parents were working and they were young kids who would come back from school. His sister was a little older, and the parents were working because they really had to make ends meet for the family. And it was these kids who used to cook their own meal. And after they came back from school, they didn't know how to, like turn on the flame, put the pressure cooker, etc. His sister was a little older; she was a little like 2 years older, did it, but they were still kids. And there were a lot of disasters that happened during the cooking. They burned their hand, or the cooker, the safety valve blew off, or things got burned, and then the parents would come back tired in the evening, and then the whole atmosphere wouldn't be very good, and so many things. And this client of mine grew up with a lot of anxiety because as a child he didn't have the resources, the adult resources available to him of, yes, I can handle this. If something happens, it's not a disaster. I'll be able to fix it. There was a lot of disasterization happening over there as a child. And in order to prevent every disaster from happening, there was a lot of anxiety from this very unresourceful child in managing that life. And even when, he had to decide which college to go to, how do I learn English? How do I do this? How do I do that? It was just that whole alone experience and trying to figure everything out alone made him a very anxious person because he didn't want to fail. He didn't want to create that disaster at home. He didn't want to burn the food that they were cooking and many other things that they had to manage in the household. That whole child thing carried forward in adulthood. Yes, that whole internal dialogue, that whole anxiety, that whole feeling of helplessness carried forward in adulthood. And there was anxiety before every presentation. There was anxiety before every beta launch and whatever. Uh, and the way as an adult he was handling it is through anger and lashing out at people. But as we worked on helping this person retell this whole story, and that's what you do in day one, step one. In the yellow you see the question, what is the story that has shaped your leadership today? Right? What are the positives it has given to you, versus what are the self-sabotage patterns that have come from it? Right? So when you are answering these questions, what I want you to do is think about your own life story. As I shared this person's life story and I was able to tease it with him together, Think about your own life story. Think about how your present is shaped by the past. Shakespeare says in The Tempest, he says that the past is prologue. Yes, you have a book and you read a prologue, but in your book of life, your past is your prologue. And how much are you allowing your past to inform you? Yes, inform you and your decisions and the future that you're making, because we're on a hero's journey and the hero has to first strengthen themselves. And that's why this retelling of your stories is important. In the Lead with Ease Academy, which we're launching today, we have an entire module dedicated to helping you retell your story and shape it in a way and examine each and every aspect of your life and shape it. But for the sake of the Leadership Mastery Bootcamp, I want you to do this step. Think about how your life story has shaped and informed your leadership today, your risk ability, your relationships with your team, with your peers, your ability to stay calm in pressure. How is all of that informed your thinking's thermostat? A lot of times we come from certain humble beginnings and we have certain aspirations for ourselves, and then a thermostat is set to that. And once we've achieved that, we feel like, oh, I don't need to do anything more because I achieved all that I thought about, wanted to achieve when I was five. Uh, but you have more time now, you have more resources now, you've already achieved all of that at a very early stage of your life. And can you give yourself permission to change the thermostat and go to the next level? Yes, a lot of our stories are informing our current leadership. And I want you to think about in this exercise about how your past is informing your present, what positives it has contributed, right? Now, for this client of mine, he had learned how to be alone and manage everything really well, right? Make things happen because that was a challenge. And that's how that story positively contributed to his success today. But it made him a very anxious person, always wondering that I'm going to fail and I'm going to get into trouble. As a child, you would get into trouble with all those mishaps, and especially when the parents are tired and it's nobody's fault there. And there's so much onus and responsibility alone about making the right college decision, about this and about that, and everything seems like a disaster if it's done wrong. When you're a child, you're not resourceful, but as an adult, you have a lot more resources to fix things. A lot more delegation happens. You're not on your own. So your story is going to contribute something positive to your leadership, and I want you to acknowledge that. And it's going to contribute some self-sabotaging patterns to your leadership, and I want you to acknowledge that also. So, as part of today's exercise, this is the first question that I want you to do, which is, what is the life story that has shaped your leadership today? What are the positives it has given to you? Versus what are the self sabotage patterns that come from it? Yes. Now, the next thing is the next stage. So, I told you we're going to talk about retelling your stories, and then we're going to learn how to self partner. Now, this client of mine didn't have the skills like a lot of us, 99% of us adults inhabiting this world, didn't have the skills to learn how to be there with himself as a comforting presence in those emotional upheavals that were happening. Yes. And that is what I call as self partnering. Yes. To partner with yourself. We all lead very individual, alone, independent lives. We're making a lot of decisions, and especially as leaders, there's a lot at stake. There's not enough time. You're always pressured, and you're trying to make a lot of these different decisions out there. And there's a lot of emotions involved in the back end, which it's like a pressure cooker, right? There are our thinking contributes to the steam in the pressure cooker, and then behavior is the whistles, is screaming. Below that was anxiety. Below that was I can't mess up. Yes. Now, there's a lot of those emotional things happening. There's a lot of not knowing how to honor ourselves, not knowing how to honor our own ambitions, not knowing what our own needs and feelings are, not knowing how to be there with ourselves. We know what to do with ourselves in a physical accident, but we have emotional accidents by the dozens in every single day. And the memory of all of that sits in your body as energy in your chakras, and it informs everything else that you're doing in the future. And you get more and more stressed if you don't retell those stories that I talked about, and if you don't know how to self partner. Now, what is this self partnering? How forgiving? I've just put down very six simple questions for you. How forgiving are you of your errors and failures? They are going to happen in a hero's journey. Yes, we saw that. There's a lot of up and down happening there. So, how forgiving are you in of your own errors and failures? What is the relationship that you have with your failures? Is it a healthy relationship, or is it like, I don't want to ever talk to you again? No, we want to cultivate a healthy relationship. How compassionate are you towards your own life story? We just saw a story, you just wrote your own story in the first part. Is And how compassionate are you towards your life experience, your incompetences, and missed opportunities? The hero's call that you did not make. Many times it has happened in the past. And after this boot camp and after you join the Lead with Ease Academy, you're never ever going to refuse the call to perform, the call to rise above yourself and do something magnificent. Yes. Now, how the second question is, how compassionate are you towards your life story? The third one is, are you in good touch with your feelings? My client had no vocabulary. It was just, I'm angry, I'm angry, I'm angry, and that person deserves it. He had that script inside of him that if somebody makes a mistake, they deserve to be screamed at and they deserve to be punished, because that's how he had dealt with himself as he was growing up. Didn't know how to do that. And he wasn't in touch with, like, oh, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling fearful, I am awfulizing, I'm disasterizing. No touch with all of that. Yes, because spent a little bulk of his life in being good at what he was doing. And now it was time to grow these in these areas. Yes. Now, can you name what is going on inside of you at any given moment? Right now, take a moment. Tell me what is going on inside of you. What feeling? Where? Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling scared? Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling ecstatic? I'm feeling very happy and ecstatic because I'm loving that all the preparation that we've done, and we are here with you, launching the Lead with Ease Academy and the Leadership Mastery Bootcamp with you. What are you feeling in this moment? Yes. And do you know how to care for yourself in any given moment? It's a massive skill, an underrated skill that's not even talked about, but great leaders are able to do that. Yes. And are you aware of your own human needs of connection, of love, of self actualization, of safety, security, growth, and honoring your own ambitions in your decision making? Or how many times have you sabotaged your own needs of growth, of self actualization, of ambition, of seeing yourself there, because of lack of awareness, or because of self sabotage? Yes. Are you your best friend? Are you your best partner? Because as a leader, you are going to be alone most of the time, making a lot of decisions, and you're on stage most of the time. Yes. Do you have your own back? Important. And have you learned how to be there for yourself like you would want a friend to be, a partner to be? Very important. And the sixth question I've already talked about. If you've learned how to honor your own aspirations and make decisions according to it, give yourself a score of 5. If you haven't, then a lower score is in order. Yes. So do this point number 2, this exercise, and I'm trying to keep it very simple. It will take 15 minutes of your time today to do this, but I want you to do this because you're a sharp person, you're a high performer. If you just sit down, center yourself, and do this, you are going to gain a lot of insights about yourself. Yes. Now let's look at the next one. And how well are you doing with these self leadership traits? So we talked about retelling our stories, understanding how our story is informing it. And in the Lead with Ease Academy, you learn how to rewrite those stories, change those stories. I need to get some water here. Give me a moment. Yes, so you're going to learn how to retell your stories, rewrite those stories, see them in a new light, as this client was taught to do that. Yes. The second thing is, you've learned how to be self-partnered. So you've learned how to hold yourself strong. You've like calmed yourself down, hold yourself strong. You know you have your back. So there's no anxiety around that. You are learning how to take care of yourself, your needs, feelings, aspirations, being there for yourself, etc. In that leader's journey where a lot of difficulties are going to come, but you have your back, you have yourself. Then on top of that, you want to build some core intrinsic self leadership skills. These are not external skills that I'm talking about, but these are intrinsic self leadership skills. And in the Lead with Ease Academy, we have identified 8 self leadership traits that differentiate high performing leaders from the others. Yes. And these are these 8 traits, which is consistent, uninterrupted motivation. Yes, no matter what is happening, no matter how many times we failed, I get knocked down, but I get up again. I love that song by Chumba Wamba. Cup thumping, yes. I don't know what half of the song means, but I just love that note. I get knocked down, but I get up again. I get knocked down, but I get up again. And how many times can you do that? How can you be consistently motivated every time you get up? You are even more motivated because you're like, yes, this is why I fell down and this is how I'm going to fix it. So, can you be consistently motivated no matter what is happening around you? No matter how many failures have happened, right? That's what sets apart high achieving leaders from the regular leaders. So give yourself a score on 0 to 5. 5 is yes, I can do it totally, I'm killing it. 0, no, I can't. I'm tired. I'm scared. I just can't keep getting up again and again. Yes. And in the hero's journey, we've seen that the hero's fallen down, but then when they fall down, they reach out to mentors, they reach out to community, they reach out to allies, they reach out to coaching in order to get up again because they want to. Yes. So that's important. The second thing is commitment and intention. How committed are you to your leadership, to your projects, to all, that you're responsible for, and to your growth? How strong is your intention when you take on challenges? Yes, and that's going to take into the next point, which is confidence and certainty. Now, confidence in leaders is not about knowing that, yes, I am going to be successful because all of these things are aligning and success is guaranteed for me, right? That's not where the leaders derive their confidence from. They know that success is guaranteed, but I don't know the roadmap, and there are going to be many obstacles around the roadmap, but success is guaranteed if I'm confident in my own abilities to navigate and to make those decisions, to learn from those setbacks and to make it ahead. And when I'm ready to go through that hero's journey with the mentors, with the support, and putting all of it together for myself and going propelling up again. Yes. And certainty. Now, when you have that intrinsic confidence that come what may, I'll figure it out. I'll figure this out. I'll find a way. I'll connect with my allies, I'll connect with my mentors, and I'll be able to find a way. Then you exude certainty in your body language, in your actions, in your communication with your teams, and in inspiring confidence in others also. If you're on a shaky ground, if you're not sure about your own self, your team's going to, there's something called as emotional contagion, contagious emotions. You're going to transfer all of that to them. But when you're confident, you exude a certain certainty in your body language, and you're able to inspire that confidence and certainty in your team. Now think about sports, right? Recently we've had the T20 World Cup. I like to follow cricket, and in the World Cup match, the final match between India and South Africa, India was on the verge of losing, but there was this fantastic catch taken by one of the players, Surya Kumar Yadav, and right at the boundary rope, and it could have gone for a six, or you know, uh, you know, South Africa could have lost their best batsman, and their chances of winning would have become poorer. And when you see Surya Kumar Yadav taking that catch, there is no hesitancy there. When you look at his body language, it's very clear he knows what he's doing, and he knows that he can handle whatever is happening with the wind on the ball and the boundary rope and the pressure of so many people watching the match. And he is going to take that catch, and he is not going to let it cross over the boundary rope, and he's going to cross over it again and hold it, and it's going to be clean. That's the certainty. And that certainty comes with a lot of inner preparation. And that's what I'm talking about here. Point number 4, and you'll see that certainty in Michael Jordan. You'll see that certainty in Djokovic. You'll see that certainty in Federer. You'll see when they're making those shots that they know that they can handle this, and that comes with a lot of preparation. Yes. Then the next thing is cultivating resilience and anti fragility. Resilience is about, yes, I can stretch my rubber band up to here, and then I'm going to break. But we're going to cultivate anti fragility here, right? Anti fragility is that I'm going to put myself through different challenges to keep increasing the span of stretching of my rubber band. I'm going to become more and more resilient, and not in a painful way and not in like a suffering way, but actually stronger way, so that it lends to greater confidence, certainty, commitment, motivation, and all of that. Yes. Time management and prioritization. What you have your own ways of how you have been managing your time and prioritizing things, and I want you to honor and respect that, along with also honoring your own flow states. Sometimes you're in a flow with a certain thing, and it's better to just honor that instead of allowing your schedule to dictate you. But at the same time, sometimes it's important to just stick to your calendar. So how good are you with managing all of those things? Give yourself a score. And adulting and emotional resilience, leaders cannot don't have time to process criticism. I won't say don't have time to process criticism. Let me take that back and let me reframe it. uh, Not to get hurt and emotional about the criticism they're receiving. Thick skin, learning from it and moving on. Learning how to do that. How good are you with that, with your whole emotional resilience and your adulting? And emotional resilience comes from step the question two that we talked about, which was self partnering also. But when things don't go your way, when people don't do things your way, are you able to enact an strategic patience, or are you getting frustrated? Are you getting disturbed? And are you just trying to give up? Because that doesn't work if you want to be that hero that I talked about a little bit ago. Yes. So let me see. Let's go there. So give yourself a score for these eight things, which is also seven is ambition. Ambition should not tire you out. A lot of times we're very ambitious and then we don't know how to use our energy and then we get completely tired and then we just give up, and then then we just give up completely because like, oh, that was too much. No. Do you know how to temper? Are you able to sustain your energy and pace while achieving your ambition, or does your ambition tire you out? And I see there's already a typo there, so forgive me for that. But are you able to sustain your energy and pace while you're achieving your ambition, or you don't know how to manage your energy, you don't know how to sustain your pace, and you get burnt out? Yes, that's where you need to give yourself a score, because great leaders know how to sustain that tempo, know how to sustain that momentum, and make things happen. Yes. And number eight is your relationship with your past failures. Do you see your failures and bad decisions as learning experiences? Are you comfortable with your failures, or do you feel less of yourself because of them? Some things to ponder there. And so, this is your exercise for today, part of your hero's journey. And for you to be able to make the most of your hero's journey and to do really well in your hero's journey, uh, strengthening the inner core is very important. And when you join the Lead with Ease Academy, you get tremendous insights in how to do this. You get right from, we're drawing right from yoga to diet. Yes, we're talking about diet according to your body type also, because all that makes a difference in your ability to do the step three that I was talking about. Because a lot of times it's not you, it's what you've done to your body and your environment. Yes, so that needs to be worked upon. So sometimes you have like, yeah, my mind wants to do this, my soul wants to do this, but my body is not allowing me to do this, and that happens too, right? So we're going to help you right from breath work to diet to mindset shifts to energy shifts to working on your chakras, and a lot of these kind of things that we have embedded in these the three-step blueprint that I have that's going to help you propel yourself to a higher realm of leadership. Add to that, along with this leadership development roadmap, add to that experts, and some of them you're going to get a glimpse of and you're going to interact with over tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I already talked about them in the beginning, and they are going to be inside of the Lead with Ease Academy as well as experts. Yes. And getting masterful coaching, mindset work, coaching, regular group calls, or one on one coaching, whatever you'll decide to sign up for, to help you push the envelope, to work on those inner sabotage patterns, and to have an exclusive peer community that when you get on a Zoom call and you're talking about something, they're listening, they're supporting, they're sharing insights, they're keeping you accountable. This is not a photo op, celebrity photo op program that I'm trying to create. There are many such programs out there. This is not a push the card networking program that, how do I gain out of this only, right? I'm truly trying to create a supportive community of leaders who are sharing their insights and their support and their learnings with each other also. So it's not just one-on-one coaching that can help you. I've been doing that for many years, and I see that. But I also feel that building this community, giving these courses, and learning from experts, and getting coaching is what is going to become like a complete system for leaders to grow. And we're inviting members from diverse verticals, and we're inviting entrepreneurs and founders and senior leaders in various companies. Yes, and the thing is that the intersection between the two, the ones who are high performing leaders in big companies are going to benefit from the entrepreneurial insights, and the entrepreneurs are going to benefit from the big company insights, and the decisions and the trends and everything like that. And that's what the cohesive environment we're going to create. So I look forward to seeing you inside of the Lead with Ease Academy. We're launching, the card is opening in a few hours, and you're going to get emails for those who registered. And for all those who've registered and all those who've not registered, go through what we've talked about today and work on yourself, because if you don't do it today, you're not going to do it. So take those 15 minutes off. I like to keep my exercises simple. I like to keep them quick because everyone's busy. So take those 15 minutes off from your day to day and do it. And this is me, Namita Purohit, signing off. I am very excited about meeting with you every day for the next 4 days now. Wow, it's one day is already gone. But I want to meet you. I want to serve you with all my heart and all my sincerity, along with this beautiful team that we have of experts to help you grow in your leadership. So see you and bye bye. And please do the exercises. And see you tomorrow again.